What's going on, everyone? Astraljerry here. A few months ago I made a couple videos about George Kavassilas. Now, let's be honest. I do a lot of my videos on the fly. I didn't plan it out as well as I could have. Now, on top of that, I was mowing my lawn during the process. I would go mow my lawn, come back in, make a segment, go mow the lawn. Whatever, this is what we got. So, people come over, George fans. No real debate was sparked from this video. I mostly got a lot of hate messages. A whole lot of hate messages. You know, if somebody disagrees with me, I'm more than willing to debate whatever this disagreement is. If you wanted to leave a comment, I would be more than willing to talk to you about that. Tell me why you disagree with me or why you agree with what George is saying. But I didn't get that, okay? It was more or less a lot of hate messages, any kind of anything just to try to make me look bad. Nothing debatable, okay? So, George Kavassilas. Let's do this. So, George says that he travels up through the dimensions, okay, as pure consciousness. He stated that it was not an out-of-body experience, as he has had an out-of-body experience before. Now, first off, just because you have an out-of-body experience, or even 5 or 15 out-of-body experiences, does not make you an expert on out-of-body experiences, okay? He stated he was pure consciousness. When having an OBE, you are nothing more than pure consciousness, okay? No perceivable body whatsoever. Until you focus your awareness on having a body, then you will generate a perceivable form, okay? So, stating without a doubt that this was not an out-of-body experience is an assumption, okay, based on nothing more than a few comparable experiences. George states that God is an individual being, that we are inside God and we are gods outside of God, okay? First off, individuality is ego trickery, okay? The ego believes itself to be an individual. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? Individuality is absolutely necessary for consciousness evolution. So, are we God? Yes, we are. But not an individual God. There is but one consciousness, okay? One consciousness, only one. George says that the last person in 2012 will be walking into the 5th dimension, and that he's going through in 2011 sometime, okay? 2011 is almost over, George, so you better get ascending. Now, anyone familiar with the esoteric teachings knows that the future is not set in stone, okay? And this may be a good excuse for you to use when the aliens don't show up to enslave all of mankind. George says that during the night we are doing so much work behind the scenes. Some would suggest behind the scenes on a higher unperceivable level. Yet George says we return more tired, okay? He stated some of us just have better recall than others, okay? I recall all of my dreams, okay, with a certain level of lucidity, alright? I recall all my astral projection or out-of-body experiences. Now, what's going on behind the scenes? Am I just not aware of this process? Okay? Some would suggest that I'm just on a lower frequency for being negative, and I can't perceive it, okay? Forgetting that good and bad are concepts, nothing more than tools for consciousness evolution. Same with love and hate, okay? Being in one extreme polarity all the time, okay, and not the other, does not evolve your spirit. It creates imbalance and disharmony. George stated that he built the pyramids, okay? That he was there. He knows how it was done, alright? And that he altered the molecular structure, okay, with his consciousness, alright? He says he is now in a limited consciousness and can't do it now. Okay. So he could do it then, alright, in what would be considered the past, but not now. Is that how evolution works? You incarnate all these years ago with an amazing ability to manipulate energy, then reincarnate in what would be considered the future, yet you have de-evolved and do not have this ability anymore. Is that how evolution works? George says that he was abducted by little green men, little evil green men, and taken to the moon, and that he knows how people feel about the moon, but they must now let the moon go because it is full of little evil, cheese-eating green men, okay? Because George, we all know the moon's made of cheese, right? George said that alien ships are going to show up, okay? That they will be activating and neurologically controlling people. People will be put in underground bases, okay? And be melted, burned alive. And that others will be taken to Mars to live in underground bases, okay? Where they will be fed off of, okay? Their energy stolen. This is the claim that this man has made. Now, there's no need to try to debunk that, alright? I believe that just speaking it aloud takes care of that, to be honest with you. Now, I understand that fear is necessary for consciousness evolution, but fear is relatively easy to experience. Fear is overwhelming, it's contagious, it's suffocating. Being someone who helps others with astral projection, fear is the most difficult thing for people to overcome. I've done my best to assist as much people as possible with this so that they can take control over their lives. When I see this fear-invoking, fear-mongering BS, it goes against what I'm doing. It doesn't set well with me. Now, we're all free to believe whatever it is that we like. We're free to share in these beliefs. I don't dislike Mr. Kavassilas. I strongly disagree with George. The whole thing reminds me of the Jonathan Reed story. He claimed an alien tore his dog's head off. He had supposedly video evidence of it. The TV show Fact or Faked investigated this. They recreated the video and they interviewed him. Jonathan claimed that this is just his story, his truth. Well, layered voice analysis showed that he was lying about all of it. Okay? Now some people say, I believe GK because he took a chance getting his story out there. That he put himself out there and put his reputation on the line. So why would GK do that? Why did Jonathan Reed do that? There's a lot to gain from it. A large following of people, the money, the donations, and last but not least, he gets his very large ego stroked daily. So, after the first video, I was going to leave the George thing alone. But the George followers kept stopping by with their simple-minded, hateful, and rude comments. They say I didn't research George, that I'm just not entertaining. So, is this to your liking? Because I tell you what, I could go on and on and on, believe me. George has put out enough, more than enough, information for me to work with, believe me.